Welcome to the next e-CENS video to reveal why switching from Universal Analytics to Google Analytics 4 requires time and resources. Hi, I'm Holger Tempel, partner at e-CENS as well as the founder and managing director of e-CENS in Germany. In the last episode, I've talked about the differences in the account structure when comparing Universal Analytics with GA4. In this video, I'll cover some of the differences with regards to the report landscape. Even though GA4 is still under development and most likely Google will address existing issues in the future, we now have to deal with missing features which have become a standard in Universal Analytics. Said that, let's look at another obvious difference between Universal Analytics and GA4, which is the report landscape. So when it comes to comparing the report landscape of Universal Analytics with GA4, the following differences can already be recognized in the navigation. Universal Analytics comes up with 7 clearly arranged report sections which contain corresponding subsections where we will find more than 150 pre-built reports which were mainly built for marketers to gain insights and then derive action. In GA4, on the other hand, we will find 5 sections that are not related to reports only, but come along with a mix of reports and configuration possibilities. At the time of recording this video, in GA4 were less than 30 pre-built reports available, which also seem to be mainly built for data scientists and not for marketers. Like mentioned before, Universal Analytics comes up with 7 clearly arranged navigational sections, which are Home, Customization, Real-Time, Audience, Acquisition, Behavior, and Conversions. Let's have a quick look at what these areas are intended for. For those of you who have been working with Universal Analytics for a while, this is probably nothing new. Please consider it a recap. The report section, Home, gives you a summary of what's interesting about your data. Then, under Customization, you'll find everything you've created or what has been shared with you, like dashboards, custom reports, saved reports, and custom alerts. The real-time section shows what's going on right now. In addition, it also allows you to immediately check if the implemented tracking code is working. Besides the overview report in the real-time section, you're able to examine the incoming data with regards to locations from where the visitors originate, traffic sources which referred the visitors to your website, content that has been viewed by the visitors, events which have been triggered, and conversions or better goal achievements which have occurred. In the audience section, you'll find reports answering questions like who are they and what are the characteristics of my website visitors. Going into each report in this section is beyond the scope of this video. However, you already know or you now get the idea about how powerful and detailed this report section is. This next section, Acquisition, is specific about answering the questions: what were the marketing initiatives which attracted my website visitors? The same like for the audience section applies here as well. To go into each report of this section is outside the scope of this video. But you can imagine the power as well as the level of granularity these reports in the audience section offer. Questions like, what did my website visitors do or see or interacted with on my website will be answered in the behavior section. And like in the previous 2 sections, the reports in the behavior section are very detailed and deliver lots of insights regarding different topics. So to cover every single report in this section would also go far beyond the scope of this video. And last but not least, there's the conversion section, which takes care about the question, how much money did my website visitors bring by purchasing products or achieving goals? This is done by providing 3 subsections. Goals will tell you everything about achieved goals. E-commerce lets you dive into analysis about product sales and performance. And multi-channel funnels allows you to evaluate the success of your marketing activities by channels and paths. It's also possible to apply attribution models here. And last but not least, there's a link to an external app called Attribution, which is in beta state now for years, but brings free cross-channel data-driven attribution to all customers. After this brief overview of the report landscape in Universal Analytics, let's take a look at what GA4 has to offer. So let's look at the navigational sections in GA4, which are Home, Reports, Explore, Advertising, and Configure. And if you want to access the reports, you need to open the Reports section where you will find these subsections: Report Snapshot, Real-Time, Life Cycle, and User. So for reporting purposes, you need to use the sections Home, Reports, Explore, and Advertising, as well as their corresponding subsections. That being said, let's have a quick look at what you'll find in these areas. Like in Universal Analytics, the section Home in GA4 shall give you a summary of what's interesting about your data. But it's obvious that the data displayed here and the possibilities to interact with cards are super limited. So to get more insights about how a website is performing, we need to switch from Home to Reports, and we'll find 4 items here: Report Snapshot, which is displayed by default, Real-Time, Life Cycle, and User. Life Cycle and User is what Google calls collections. Collections are used to organize topics, and topics are used to order reports. This is how Google now structures the report landscape in GA4. Starting with the Reports Snapshot provides you with the information you would have been expected under Home, so here you'll find those cards which give you a summary of what's interesting about your data. Real-Time Reports is meant to show the activity on your app or site as it happens. The arrangement shall shed some light about how users entered the conversion funnel and how they behave once they are in the funnel. Once we open Life Cycle, we will find 4 topics there: acquisition, engagement, monetization, and retention. The intention of the acquisition topic in GA4 is to show where new and returning users are coming from. The following reports are contained in this topic: Acquisition Overview to summarize the acquisition data, User Acquisition to show how the users who were active in the chosen date range were first acquired, and Traffic Acquisition shows new sessions from new and returning users in the chosen date range. The engagement topic is all about user engagement by the events and conversion events that users trigger. This also includes all web pages and app screens that users visit. The following reports are contained in this topic. The Engagement Overview report, which is displayed by default, summarizes engagement data and shall help you to get a more holistic view into users' engagement across your websites and apps. Events report will show the events which were collected by GA4, while the Conversions report will show how many conversions have been achieved in the chosen date range. And if we are interested in the evaluation of which pages and screens have been viewed the most, we will find the information in the Pages and Screens report. The Monetization report enables you to see the revenue you've generated from the items, ads, and subscriptions on your websites or apps. Also, the report shows numbers of item views, ad impressions in your apps, as well as other collected data about revenue. The Monetization Overview report summarizes e-commerce purchases and in-app purchases and shall help you to get a unified view of websites and app monetization. The e-commerce purchases report enables you to measure the revenue generated on your website, as well as to measure the interactions with items offered there, while the in-app purchases report measures revenue from in-app purchases by product ID. And last but not least, the Publisher Ads report will show the revenue generated from the ads in your mobile ad by ad unit. And the last topic in the life cycle is called Retention, which consists of only one report, the Retention Overview. This report shall help you to understand how frequently and for how long users engage with your website or mobile app after their first visit. But unless your website and app is not able to issue a unique user ID, Google Analytics will not be able to recognize a user over different devices or browsers, and therefore this report is not as useful as Google wants us to make believe. Now let's switch to the last collection available, which is called User. And here we'll find 2 topics: Demographics and Tech. The intention of demographics topic in GA4 is to help you classify your users by age, location, language, and gender, along with interests they've expressed through their online browsing and purchase activities. The following reports are contained in this topic: demographic overview to summarize the geographical and demographical data, and demographic details to show the users by age, location, language, and gender, etc. One thing to keep in mind is that the reports will be populated with demographic data only if Google Signals is activated. Google Signals delivers data from users who sign into Google. When Google Signals data is available, Analytics associates event data it collects from users with the Google accounts of users who are signed in and have consented to share this information. Said that, please clarify with your DPO if activating and using Google Signals might cause problems regarding data privacy regulations. Now let's switch to the last topic in this collection, the tech topic. This topic shows traffic by the technology used by the visitors and provides two reports: Tech Overview to summarize the data collected about technical details, and Tech Details to show details by platform, device type, operating system, and browsers, etc. And that's it with regards to the section reports, so let's have a quick look at the two remaining sections of GA4. One of these is the Explore section, to be found right under the Reports section in the very left menu. Explorations is a set of powerful tools for audience discovery and comparison. This should be seen as the highly improved and enriched equivalent of custom reports in Universal Analytics. Explorations can be used to answer ad hoc questions, create Google Analytics segments, and remarketing audiences. This is super powerful and helpful as well, and therefore will most likely be the preferred tool for digital analysts. And the section below Explore is called Advertising. And this section is all about getting more insight into your most important user journeys and to better understand the ROI of the media spent across all channels. This shall help to make informed decisions about budget allocation and to evaluate attribution models. Currently, there are 3 reports available: Advertising Snapshot to get a quick overview of business metrics, Model Comparison enables you to compare how different attribution models impact the valuation of your marketing channels, and last but not least, the Conversion Paths report to see the customer's paths to conversion and how different attribution models distribute the credit. Now that we had a quick look at the sections of GA4 and its report landscape, we now need to know which report in GA4 is similar to which report in Universal Analytics and, of course, where to find it. Again, to be absolutely clear, GA4 is still under development and in my opinion cannot be called a product ready for the market. And after we've gone through the report landscape of both, you are now aware of what you are missing already or will be missing in the future. But hopefully Google will listen to the needs of the Google Analytics users and will address the lack of reports in GA4. Until then, here's where you will find either equivalent reports or at least similar reports in GA4 which you might have been using in Universal Analytics. Useful content from Home now can be found in Reports Snapshot. Customization has more or less been gone, but the Explore section in GA4 is an excellent successor for this. Real-time report is named the same, but has been significantly condensed to only one single report. Some of the audience reports can now be found in demographics and tech. Everything else has disappeared. Also, acquisition is named the same, but has been reduced to a few reports. Behavior can now be found under engagement and also has been reduced to only a few reports. From the conversion section, the reports of the 2 subsections goals and e-commerce are more or less reflected under monetization in GA4. And last but not least, some of the reports from subsection multi-channel funnels and from the app attribution can be found in the advertising section. That brings us to the end of this video, and I hope I have provided you with a good overview of the reporting landscape of Universal Analytics and GA4. And always keep in mind, Experience cannot be learned, it must be gathered. Therefore, rely on the expert's experience only.